What's up, everybody? Welcome back. There have been questions about the viability of the new Jedi Rework Trio. Right now, we have a Grand Arena 3v3 going on, and the question is, how good are they going to fare in Grand Arena? And last night, with my shardmate Dragon, big thank you to him, we did some defensive testing of this team, see how well they can hold on defense against various good offensive teams for Grand Arena, and overall the result was kind of a mixed bag. What we expected to win would win, and what we expected to lose would lose. It didn't really subvert expectations, it didn't really pop out as a team that we really want to invest in, but the one thing we do have to disclose is that I do not currently have the Zeta on General Kenobi, and with this Zeta, he will taunt whenever Protection Up expires on a Galactic Republic ally, and of course Anakin and Ahsoka with the reworks, they can both put out Protection Up, so with that Zeta he could taunt a bit more often, but I have to say that could probably help some of the matches with them winning, but overall it wasn't something I'd say would really make a difference here. And of course, we do have more stuff coming with Galactic Republic here in the future. We still don't have a Zeta on Jedi Knight Anakin, though Carrie has very heavily hinted that when we see Padme in the game, we'll see a Zeta on Anakin. And I do have the Zeta on Ahsoka, and this one you really have to have. It's the constant calling of assist with her. She is called to assist when a Galactic Republic ally uses a special, and this allows her to use her basic, which can dispel buffs on the enemy target, and also allow her to cleanse debuffs on herself and a Galactic Republic ally if it is a critical hit. So the Zeta here on Ahsoka, you really gotta have, and I do think the Zeta on General Kenobi would really help push this team up a little bit, make it a little bit more viable. But we did try out 8 different teams last night that we got, like I said, mixed bag, but of the 8 teams we tried last night, we did not try Jedi or Darth Revan, simply because we already knew what those results were going to be.
Sith Lords are our specialty.
But enough of that, let's go ahead and get into the footage here and show what to expect with this team on defense. So the first matchup is going to be with a Asajj-led Night Sister team. This team pretty heavy. You can see we've got Mother Talzin, Zombie, and Asajj here. So not exactly a heavy team that you would be using here because you'd usually spread out Talzin elsewhere. But even with that here, we were actually able to win with the General Kenobi team because it's just too easy for this team to survive the attacks. The crit immunity from General Kenobi doesn't allow you to really get damaged with Asajj, and you can get Plague with Mother Talzin, but the special from Ahsoka can easily cleanse that with the healing, and overall not exactly a very powerful one. And if you do decide to go after General Kenobi or go for Anakin, because Anakin could easily punish your team, if you go for Anakin, you'll get the crit immunity, and then General Kenobi will taunt, and you can then dispel, but then Anakin can still easily counter, do some really solid damage, and help heal himself back up. Now, you can obviously get buff immunity on Zombie here, which also allows Zombie to, or prevents Zombie from taunting, so that doesn't do much, and you can see here about a minute in, and so far not looking good for this team. Zombie is constantly dying. You can dispel some debuffs there, but on the whole, you're just not going to be able to get through this team. Asajj is eventually going to die. Mother Talzin is very easily picked off. The special from Ahsoka can do a lot of damage. Overall, this team just doesn't have a lot of survivability. So in Asajj lead, if you don't have Daka in there, you're not really going to last against a General Kenobi team. There's too much healing, defense, and mass assist with the General Kenobi lead. You're just not able to last. So if you are going to use an Asajj team, Asajj-led kind of team of Night Sisters in the Grand Arena somewhere, highly recommend you guys avoid attacking a General Kenobi team because it's just not that powerful. You can see Asajj is gone, and now it's just a simple matter of picking off Night Sister Zombie. And then we're going to try a Talzin lead with Daka and Night Sister, and the difference is night and day. With the constant plague under the Talzin lead, the constant revives with Daka, you're just really not able to keep up with the General Kenobi team. The healing from Ahsoka is really the only way that you can heal up the team. It's just not enough here. The Plague constantly eats through protection, ignores it, and you just can't keep up with it. So at the end of the day, it's sort of a battle of attrition, but you can see Anakin's already at half health, and it's just going to go downhill from there. You know, they'll pick off a couple of characters if possible, and you can see we've already lost General Kenobi within 30 seconds. At that point, it's really easy. You don't get the crit immunity, and you can slowly pick off the other characters. Anakin's gone, and now Ahsoka's not going to last long. So a Talzin lead, much better versus the Nasaj lead, but I mean, that's not really surprising. The Plague allows you to constantly ignore the protection, and there's a lot of protection and defense on this team anyways, but Plague and Dots really allow you to chew through that because you can't just ignore that with bonus defense. So Talzin lead, definitely the way to go here. Now next up, we have a CLS team, and this one is pretty much unsurprising. All you really have to do is pick off Anakin, and that's really not something that should surprise anybody. Get buff immunity if possible on General Kenobi, but you can see that we have crit immunity on Anakin, so you could easily pick him off, and look at that, Anakin's already down to half health, and this battle is gonna be over in a very short amount of time. The bonus health damage with Chewie allows you to pick things off. 30 seconds in, and this match is pretty much over. Stun Ahsoka, get rid of her crit immunity, and she goes down pretty easily. So it's a bit overkill, but if you have nothing else, CLS works great against that General Kenobi team, which shouldn't surprise anybody. I mean, all you have to do is really pick off Anakin, and that's something we'll see here with a lot of these matches. Now, next up, we have Emperor Palpatine with Vader and Thrawn. Having Thrawn there seems a little bit overboard, because, I mean, Thrawn's a great leadership for other Empire teams. Dragon kind of went off the walls here and just kind of threw the best Empire characters in here. Not sure that would have worked, but if you can afford to throw Thrawn in here, then Thrawn's going to make it really easy for you, because all you have to do is fracture GK or Anakin, and allows you to pick off the other character. If you can fracture General Kenobi, prevent him from taunting, you can easily go after Anakin, wipe him out before he can get his specials off. And that's the big threat with this team, Anakin. If you cannot get rid of Anakin, you start going for the other characters, he's going to punish you because his AoE is going to hit like a truck, and he's going to allow you to really do some nasty damage against other teams. So picking off Anakin really quickly, that's the way to go here. Once Anakin's gone, it's pretty straightforward. You have the unresistible ability block from Vader. That's going to make things a lot easier. And, of course, just constantly going after General Kenobi. Now, the basic with Thrawn and the synergy with the basic from Vader allows you to get stuns on the enemy characters too. But you can see here, going to go ahead, go after Ahsoka. Once Ahsoka is down, it's just a simple matter of killing off General Kenobi. Nothing too complicated here. But if Thrawn wasn't here, probably would have been a little bit more in favor of the General Kenobi team. But again, you still do have the unique with Emperor Palpatine dealing damage to Jedi characters. So really, at the end of the day, I'm not quite sure a General Kenobi team could withstand against the Emperor Palpatine team if someone else was in there anyways. So this is another good offensive option for you to use against General Kenobi if you do see it on defense. So next up, this is one we just kind of threw together for fun. Ewoks. I mean, it's not going to surprise anyone that the General Kenobi team wins. I mean, it's... It really shouldn't surprise anyone. There's not really a good combination of Ewok trios for Grand Arena, so try Chirpa and Wicket and C-3PO because of the expose, the armor penetration, everything. Why not? But the problem is probably Paploo could have made things a little easier, but this team just doesn't have a way to counter the constant huge amounts of damage that a General Kenobi team can burst out, whether it's Ahsoka's special, or the mass assist with General Kenobi, or Anakin's basic or AoE. It's very easy for an Ewok team to lose, so I'd probably avoid sending an Ewok team on offense against this kind of team. Now, next up, we have First Order. So Kylo, both Kylos, and First Order TIE Pilot of all characters. But, I mean, First Order is usually one we throw on defense anyways. Tried some stuff out here, but really it shouldn't surprise anyone that this team does not fare well against General Kenobi. There's a lot of reliance on critical hits for the team, and you really just don't get that with Kenobi because you have the crit immunity that he constantly hands out, prevents turn meter, and really the healing and the buff immunity on Anakin's basic, plus the huge burst damage you can do with Ahsoka and GK. It doesn't really last. So yeah, I'd probably go ahead and avoid First Order. I mean, you could try a Phasma lead too, but I think the Phasma lead pretty much going to get you the same result just in a shorter time. So First Order, definitely not a faction you guys want to try against General Kenobi. Now next up we have JTR, and surprisingly JTR did not fare well against General Kenobi, but I mean you could go back to the crit avoidance that you have with General Kenobi and how that just doesn't do too well, but look at that, Resistance Trooper got picked off in 10 seconds of the match. So you're already down Resistance Troopers, so you're having to rely on BB-8 and JTR, and that's the thing, the huge burst damage with Ahsoka at the start of the match, that can very easily one-shot a character if you're not careful, and we're probably going to lose BB-8 here in a second. And also, don't forget, the basics from Ahsoka can dispel the intel buff from your characters, so you won't have that, and there you go. That was a very short match. You're talking 30 seconds, it was over. JTR can very easily get picked off by General Kenobi. I mean, we should have seen it coming with the crit avoidance and General Kenobi being able to avoid that and prevent the exposes on his team, but also the constant assist with Ahsoka really disrupts the rhythm you have going on, really helps hinder the ability to get Eliminated Destiny off, because she's constantly dispelling buffs and getting rid of that secret intel buff, and that is the big problem. If you cannot get that on your team with JTR, that really hinders her ability to do a lot of damage. So without the ability to rely on Illuminated Destiny, General Kenobi teams with the Zeta on Ahsoka and her assist, it's actually a very strong team for these JTR kind of teams, or any team that has a heavy reliance on buffs as you just saw here. Now next up, we tried a Rex Wampa team, and we have Enfys Nest in this team. Honestly, you're probably not going to use Nest here, and if you don't, Rex Wampa is gonna get crushed by General Kenobi teams. The ability, you don't really have a tank here, but even then, having a tank on the team doesn't do much because you have the assist from Ahsoka. She can quickly cut through that taunt and allow you to quickly pick off the other characters. Rex is very squishy, he's not going to last long, in fact he's already gone 30 seconds in. So with Nest here, this team was able to win, but I can't really recommend throwing Nest in here when Nest is really good against so many other teams like Jedi Revan or Bastila teams. I really can't recommend throwing in Nest here, and in fact Nest actually dies in the middle of this match. So even with her here and the dazes and the exposes and the dispelling of buffs, and that's something else too, when she uses her basic, she's able to dispel defensive buffs on the target, and that would get rid of protection up, allowing General Kenobi to taunt more often if you have the Zeta on him. But even so, I just don't think it would work. I just don't see it being enough here. So unless you can afford to use or lose Enfys Nest with another counter, she could work here, but I don't think in the long run it's going to be something I could really recommend. And without her, this Rex Wampa team probably not going to win. I mean, you see here that we're slowly picking off the team, but you're going to watch here, Ahsoka right now just one-shots Enfys Nest, and that is that. And really, without her, this team's over. So Rex Wampa, if you can throw an Enfys Nest, good counter. If not, and most people will not be able to, you're not going to be able to swing it with a Rex team. So that is what we found out with defensive testing last night. There's more teams we could have tried. One I really wanted to try was General Grievous. Unfortunately, Dragon's Grievous is only like gear 9 or 10. No Zetas on the team, so not really something we could viably test here. But I do think a Grievous team could be good here. The dispels with B2 could prevent the taunt and the crit immunity on the team, and General Grievous could go pretty crazy and wipe out Anakin and Ahsoka pretty quickly. So I do think a Grievous team against the trio here would work. Other teams that we could probably try down the road, Traya. A Traya-led Sith team obviously is going to counter it. The constant attacking out turn is going to wreck Ahsoka, so a Traya lead could also easily beat it. If you want to go for something like Jango and some bounty hunters there, I do think that the bounty hunters could do some pretty good stuff here too. We got some of the more common offensive teams out there, and of course obviously we didn't test out the Revans, but that was going to be obvious where those teams are going to win. And really, that's just some of the testing we found so far, and I honestly have to say that even with 2 Zetas on this team, I'm not quite sure I can recommend it for defense. It does look pretty impressive in the footage that we showed, but I'm still not quite sure I would throw this on defense against some other teams. I think this team is actually going to do pretty well on offense, and that's going to be something we're going to test later on for another video in the future. But right now, I'd say probably hold this team on offense and use it there, because it's probably going to get a better return for you. So that is going to be it for this video today, guys. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you all have enjoyed this video. Hope you guys are having a good Easter as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys later.